Recording in progress.
Secret, can you keep it? Swear this one you'll save. To the grave. And I'll show you that I know you.
I wish they would have done like a RuPaul's Drag Race beat drop instead. They just been like, got a secret, can you keep it?
Secret. If one of them is dead, they all die.
You guys, welcome back to episode 2 of season 2. 222.
Woo!
In this episode, we said last episode that we were not going to be a Pretty Little Liars podcast.
We're liars.
We're Pretty Little Liars.
Listen, this one, we're just really excited about the first 3 episodes. So obviously as time goes on, we're excited about the series, especially me, because you know me, I'm a PLL hardcore fan. So I have a lot of things to talk about when it comes to this. So that's why I feel like this episode, we just need to fully go hard into the PLL world. And then from here on out, we'll probably slow down a little bit and just kind of give cliff notes and just be like, hey, this is what I thought of the episode. And we'll still talk about other things like pop culture and all that stuff. But right now, PLL is the big thing in our circle. So that's the main thing we're going to talk about today. Yeah, 3 episodes we have to talk about.
We didn't know they were doing that.
We did not know
I feel like we need a whole podcast episode to literally cover a gist of 3 episodes. So yeah, there was a lot going on. What do you think IMBD rated this television program?
Percentage-wise?
Out of 10. 0 out of 10. What did they give?
10?
What did they give this beginning part? What did they give it? And then I will tell you what they've given the individual episodes as we go along.
I'm trying not to think what I would rate it.
Yeah, don't think about what you would rate it. Think about the general synopsis of what they're going to rate this.
What, these random people who know nothing about PLL?
Well, 50-50.
My intuition is telling me it's between a 5 and a 7 range.
A 6.8. Good job. IMBD has given this television program a 6.8. And I don't know if that's based off of just the 3 episodes that are available, or if people that know it ahead of time and have seen it, critics and bullshit, but I'm pretty sure that's not true. I'm pretty sure this is like straight up rated overall, I think. But, and then the first episode got a 7.4, which I actually don't think is that bad.
Interesting.
I didn't think that was kind of crazy. So just to give everybody a gist of what the general idea of this version of the program is, IMBD says that the storyline is 20 years after a series of tragic events that almost tore the town of Millwood apart. Both the young and old generations of Millwood must face the consequences of their past when an unknown assailant seems to know an awful lot about their secret history. So, going from there, I just want to get we're going to obviously deep dive, but I just want to get an overall feel with you. What did you think overall, I guess, in comparison to the original Pretty Little Liars?
I have a lot to say about that. So everybody get ready.
I'm just going to sit back here.
So the first episode, not the biggest fan of, but I understand because it's a pilot episode. You're introducing so many different people, slowly reeling us into what will eventually become hopefully some amazing episodes, which they did. Don't get me wrong. Episodes 2 and 3, they stepped it up some, and I gave me the Pretty Little Liars feel. First of all, it's like they have fog machines in every scene. Okay.
And wind machines.
It's fog machines, wind machines, too dark. I understand that this series is meant to be darker, but it doesn't mean every scene needs to be in the dark.
See, I felt like some of the scenes, Sabrina. That's what I felt like.
It's too Sabrina-esque.
It's very Sabrina.
And I'm just like, just because you're a creator from Sabrina, you don't need to put that spin on it because we're not in that world. We're in the Pretty Little Liars world.
I thought the aesthetic was Sabrina. Yes. And then I thought the acting and the storyline was season 1 Riverdale. That's what I was getting. I was like, oh, they basically took these two babies and smushed them together and we're like, okay, let's basically make a show that's exactly the same as Sabrina and Riverdale and call it Pretty Little Liars. See what happens.
Yeah. So, and some of the shots that they did were weird that they probably thought were like amazing shots. Some of the ways that they panned to the characters. I'm like, why are we this close to their face? We don't need to be this close to their face.
The 700 flashbacks they did that were unnecessary.
Yeah.
Unnecessary.
Like, it didn't make any sense. And I feel like it took too long. This is just to me and how I feel about it. Mm-hmm. Because obviously in Pretty Little Liars, the girls have a common theme of Allison. Allison is the thing that brings them back together and her death.
Right.
The girls, the way that these girls come together is different. They weren't friends before this at all. No, they just realized that all of their
Tabby and Imogen.
Yeah. Imogen, get it right.
Whatever.
They just realized that all their moms were friends in high school. And they start to realize this again. Well, not again. They start to realize this.
But they only got together because they all got detention together. Because
Breakfast Club.
If they wouldn't have had detention together, none of them would have spent time together or had any reason because they all literally are in different clubs and different groups and have nothing in common.
But so that brings us into what they think Karen. So we have the twins, Karen and Kelly Beasley are the twins that go to this school. Karen mostly is known because she's really popular, but she's also kind of a big ass bully. Kelly's just kind of there.
Regina George. Like they literally made Regina George. That is who she is. She's not Allison. She is not Allison.
So we have Imogen, Noah, Tabby, Minnie, and Farron, who all get detention together because of what they think Karen has done to them for them to get detention. So Imogen used to be friends with Karen, really close friends with Karen and Kelly. They had a fallout because Karen finds out that Imogen supposedly kissed her boyfriend.
Greg, who's a fucking loser.
Greg, yes.
And later on, we find out he has a tiny penis. So that was fun.
He has a tiny penis. I really kind of hope he gets a gay storyline because he gives me gay vibes and I love it. So supposedly that happened. Imogen, of course, says, no, he kissed me. Like, I would never kiss your boyfriend because you're my best friend type thing. So those two had a fallout. So now pretty much Imogen is like, Karen pretty much is just out to get me because of all of that. And I'm not surprised as to why, because all of them start to realize, okay, how am I in Karen's orbit to make this happen to me?
To make her hate me.
Exactly. So Imogen just starts explaining, like, sometimes there's no reason. Sometimes you do one little thing and Karen's just like, I'm going to fucking ruin your life.
Right. And some of them, like Noah's, for example, was stupid. Noah's was basically that her boyfriend, Karen, tried to date him before Noah and him were together. And he rejected her because he liked Noah. Yep. And they're like, and Imogen's like, oh yeah, something that tiny will piss her off. And I'm just like, okay, then if that's the truth, this bitch is pure evil because that's stupid. That is stupid.
So the concept of when Imogen and Tabby walked into school and saw the posters and everything wrecked, my first thought too was like, oh, Karen did that herself to make it look like she pulled a Regina George and was like, oh my God, I'm so hurt. I can't believe they would write and do such things, like heinous things.
Very Burn Book vibes.
Yes. And so all these bad things happen to all the girls to make them like, Minnie is a gamer nerd. So she loses like all her computers and stuff. Farron is in the ballet class. She's like one of the top girls. She loses her role in Swan Lake as the Black Swan. Tabby can't work at the movie theater anymore. Noah's a convict pretty much. So
okay, let's talk about these individual girls because there's some issues I have here with just the characters themselves. Okay,
they're extra.
I'm gonna rifle it off, and then we'll discuss just one by one. I'm gonna rifle off the one thing that pisses me off about each of these characters.
Okay, because I was gonna say, let me say a name, and you just give me one word for them.
I'm gonna do really. Go ahead. Go ahead. Give me one name, and I will tell you what the one thing is that I hate about their character. Not them. The character that they've created, unfortunately.
Farron.
That school is not a ballet school. But for some reason, Farron's doing straight thug Swan Lake in the middle of the fucking school day.
Yeah.
Next. I don't understand. We'll talk about it, but that's that one.
Tabby.
The her and Wes storyline, I'm very, very
uncomfortable with,
disgusted by it and uncomfortable by it because I don't understand. I thought they learned from the original that let's not do that. And the weird thing is, and if I had my original notes, which I don't have because my ADHD got the fucking best of me, he references a director in one of the scenes and references that he's the same age as this director. So me, little Miss Investigation, the little Google and looked it up. And that actor is 35. And I doubt Wes is 35. So I'm not really sure what the reference was or if they fucked it up or something. But the director they're speaking of is the director of Midsommar. And that person is 35 years old. So if Wes is 35 years old, criminal, felon. If he the way
he's already a felon.
The way they describe him, he sounds like he's about 23, 24, which is disgusting. It's disgusting.
Same as the whole Ezra Arya storyline.
Right. It's so gross. Next one.
But wait, so what is your issue with Tabby though? Besides the whole West thing?
Oh, that she's a little player with Chip. Justice for Chip. Justice for Chip. I love Chip. She doesn't deserve him. Chip. She doesn't deserve him. He is so good and so kind and so sweet and so handsome. Justice for Chip. Okay. That's going to be, I'm making t-shirts.
Okay. What about Mouse? Minnie Mouse.
Nothing. I love her character. I love her character. I think, I like that she's not like any of the other characters from the original. There was no very timid, quiet. She basically is kind of like Caleb. She's like techno boy toy, but she's techno girl toy. I like that they have a very feminine girl who is a geek, a techie. I just love her character. I don't have any flaws with her character. I like her character a lot, actually. I think she's awesome. And I look forward to her and Farron are my two favorite characters.
Ooh, okay. So what about Noah?
Felon. This poor girl is, they're 15, 16 years old.
Yeah.
And at the beginning of the show, they make it seem like she did something with drugs. And basically she's on house, basically it has a little thing around her ankle, an ankle bracelet that follows her everywhere. And on top of that, she has to take a piss test with the nurse every day to prove she didn't do drugs.
Yeah.
And guess what, guys? Spoiler alert. She never did drugs. She's never been on drugs. She covered for her drug addict mother.
Yep.
And didn't tell her boyfriend. And then when her boyfriend found out, he was like, oh my God, I'm an idiot. But also love Sean. I love Sean. Sean's giving me Toby vibes, like ride or die for my bitch kind of vibes. Yeah. I like Sean a lot. I like Sean. I like Chip. I really like them a lot. They're good characters, and Tabby does not deserve him.
All right, we have Imogen.
We already know. I fucking hate the pregnant storyline. I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate you. You and I have talked about it a million times. The season 3 of You, I fucking hated that they were pregnant and had a baby because it's just this weird. It's such a weird obstacle that doesn't need to be there in order to push the storyline along.
Yeah.
But clearly they're throwing this storyline out there that they're not going to tell us, I'm assuming for a little while, who the baby daddy is. And I'm going to assume the baby daddy is an inappropriate person that shouldn't be having babies with people.
Maybe, probably.
That's the vibe. That's the vibe I'm getting, is that this person is not a good person to be giving a teenager a baby. So nobody should be. But that's my feeling on them. How do you feel? And Farron and Mouse are my favorite.
Of the 5 girls?
Of the 5 main girls. I love Farron because all of her sarcasm and jokes in the show really bring a little life to it. And I really like that. And then I love Mouse because I just think she's a great character for girls to look up to. I think she's a really good character.
My number 1 is Tabby. which I know can be like, but I just love her. I love her one-liners. I think she's very smart. She's one of the smarter girls of the group.
You don't think she's overkill though? Like, I'm not saying her.
Not yet.
I'm saying the writing for her is a little overkill. It can be.
For her and Imogen, it can be a little overkill sometimes.
Yeah.
But I still loved her character. I loved every scene she was in. And I just loved the things she was thinking of to figure out certain things or how to do, pull the stunt on Karen. I liked all that. Now, do I think that they should have written her smarter? Like, yes, she's smart, but the fact that she went over to her boss's house and didn't take that as a red flag when he was like, oh, I'll give you the flash drive back if you come have dinner with me. I'd be like, you can go fuck yourself. Give me the flash drive. Like,
but then she had some weird PTSD thing. And then did you understand so there's a scene where in case anybody's wondering, my sister and I both have ADHD. So if you think that this is going to be a chronological ordered podcast of a show, you're fucking find a new podcast. It's not going to be it.
We're not going to be in order.
This is a conversation between basically two friends is what it's going to sound like. So the scene where she puts the GoPro in the boys' locker room and then watches it and writes it. And then dead as a doornail, that part's gone.
We never talk about it again.
We don't talk about Bruno.
But the GoPro comes back into play when they place it at Angela Waters' little memoriam site where she died. Because they're trying to catch A. So the GoPro comes back, but they don't. We still don't know why Tabby is filming the naked boys.
So I'm assuming it has something to do with her little PTSD outbreak that she had when she was at Wes's house and she got a little dizzy or something. But then she was smart though, Meg. She was smart and she found that SD card. She grabbed it and she said, "See you, bitch."
Either way, she was leaving, but she still happened to find the flash drive and was like, "Mine." Now, trying to stay online with the flash drive here. So, okay, guys, flash drive has a scandalous video of Karen. Before Imogen and Karen, that whole fallout. It was at the same party.
The same night.
Fallout happens. Karen gets drunk, starts saying all this crazy stuff. One of the boys starts filming her. It'd be very embarrassing for people to see something like that. The girls make up a scheme because they think that Karen has plotted against all of them to try to ruin their lives. So the girls come up with a scheme to show this video in a short moment so that people don't have time to film it and post it online. They're at least trying to be decent that way.
Which I thought that whole thing was so fucking funny. I was like, in the old Pretty Little Liars, they wouldn't be doing that shit. They'd be like,
they wouldn't, because they wouldn't have to.
They wouldn't even think about the internet. They'd be like, whatever. Yeah, they don't give a shit.
And the internet wasn't that insane then.
This one, they're it could be on there forever.
So Tabby makes a little clip, a little video, puts it on a flash drive, has Chip help her because Tabby and Chip both work at the movie theater.
Justice for Chip.
Chip plays it on the flash drive. Tabby goes back for the flash drive after this whole incident happens. Wes confiscates it, takes it to his place. We just caught up to Tabby going to his place, finally deciding to leave and be a smart girl, stealing the flash drive.
Gross.
Tells the girl she has the flash drive now, and decides to stupidly hand it over to Noah because Noah's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna flush it." No fucking way is she flushing that shit.
The second they gave it to her and they didn't show us her flushing it, I go, "She ain't fucking flushing it." I'm like,
she is having this. She is having that as if anybody goes down, she's like, "Well, I have this evidence. I have this against them, and this is Tabby's. It's not mine." Blah blah blah. She's gonna use that against the girls because, don't get me wrong, Noah and Farron aren't wrong. When Noah, Farron, and Mouse all have the conversation, are we really friends? We all just kind of came together in this moment, but we're not really fucking friends. These two, Imogen and Tabby have been friends. They could easily turn on us. Why would they care about us? Minnie trying to be the in between, yeah, but it's the wrong thing to do. We still got to stand together. We decided to do this together. So when, they decided to say that we're all going to be in this together. We are all one. When Tabby gave her the flash drive, I'm like, that's going to come into play later. And Noah's going to screw over Tabby for some reason.
Yeah. Either she's going to regret it, do it and regret it, or I don't think it'll be ill-willed. I think it'll be I had to.
Yeah. But so going back to talking about comparisons, Oh God, sorry. I just heard my dad sneeze and it just took my brain like, oh my God.
Again, this is an ADHD podcast.
Yes, and my ADHD has been very bad lately. So some things that I started noticing as I started thinking about it post me watching it. We have a lawyer mom, pretty much.
I was like, that I'm glad we kept. I'm really glad we kept that, because I think that's one of the, like, we've talked so many times about how one of the reasons we love Pretty Little Liars because it's so camp and it's ridiculously stupid. And I love that. I think Mike says it on his little thing that he did where she's basically the lawyer to everybody in town.
Yeah. Even though Farron's mom doesn't live in town, but she just comes into town and she's so just weird. Like, oh, honey, you're the black swan again. She didn't want a lawsuit on her hands. I was like, oh my God, we have another lawyer mother. I'm here for this.
Loved it. I was like, yes, another lawyer mom that's not going to take care of her children and basically alienate them. Woo!
Yes. So that was fun. That was fun to see. So out of the 3 episodes, episode 2 was definitely my favorite.
Same.
It gave me the most PLL vibes. The ending literally gave me goosebumps. The
most action, the most things that were happening.
Yes.
It made sense. The storyline overall made sense. It wasn't too all over the place. I will say I don't like when we were texting back and forth, I do not like the Monday, Tuesday, September, taka.
No, we don't need it. We don't need it.
And I don't know if they're making the timeline, because it looks to me like they're making a timeline, like a very set in stone, because they even give dates. If you watch, I watched it over again. They give you literal hard fact dates of when the girls are doing things. And I'm wondering if they're doing that because in the original Pretty Little Liars, their storyline got mixed up a lot, because they would go back and they'd be like, oh shit, we should have never done that. Oh, that never happened. And then you're like, as a fan, you're like, that doesn't make any fucking sense. That's not on the timeline.
Yeah, plot hole.
So I'm wondering if it's that.
But so episode 1 is a lot of
introduction
to the characters, introduction to get to the general storyline of how all these girls come together. So we start off with the party back in
2000. Bitch.
2004?
No, 2000.
It was just 2000?
Yeah.
I thought it was 2002 or 2004. No,
because it was 22 years ago, and it's it's the year 2022, so it's 2000.
Okay, year 2000, which was weird because every time I watch flashbacks like that, I think it's going to be like in the 70s or the 80s. I'm not used to like the year 2000. I'm like, I was alive.
Yeah, I was like,
okay,
bitch, am I old?
Yeah. So we have a flashback of all the moms. We have Davy, who is Imogen's mom. We have Sydney, who is Tabby's mom. Marjorie, who is Noah's mom. Elodie, who is Minnie's mom. Corey, who is Farron's mom. And then we have Angela Waters, who is the girl that ends up killing herself at this rave.
A rave. A rave.
Yes, they're having a rave in like this old abandoned building
in Pennsylvania,
and her eyes are all bloody, kind of, and like mascara running. She's just running. We start off the episode with her running around saying, "Help me, help me! Somebody, please help me! Like, please, dear God, like someone help me!" Everybody ignored her. She finally goes up to Sydney, Tabby's mom, and it's like, "Sydney, like, please help me, please!" And Sydney wanted to help her, but Davy comes over and is like, "We talked about this."
Which is like, interesting.
We're going back to dance. Like, we talked about this. Let's go. And just ignores her. So then as they're counting down to midnight, Angela climbs up into the rafters and people start to notice. And she's like, can you see me now? And then she just fucking jumps and kills herself. Her arm? Dear God, it was like...
Okay, one thing that Archer said, because he watched this with me, because I was like, can you please watch this with me? Like, I need your commentary, because this is ridiculous. Like, this isn't
gonna
like
be ridiculous.
Yeah, this isn't like Emmy Award winning television.
No.
So I want to hear
which is why I love it.
Right. And I'm like, I want to hear what you have to say. He goes, I'm sorry. That is maybe a 30-foot drop. She would not have died. And neither would have Karen. He's like, so that's bullshit. He's like, so I don't know what they were trying to pull.
It depends how they landed, I guess. They must have landed immediately like on their neck and just cracked
on their head. Blood pooled everywhere. He's like, nah, fake, not real. I go, well, no shit, dick.
So that happens. So this is how the episode starts. So that happens. Time jump.
22 years later.
When Imogen is a teenager, we have Davy's daughter Imogen into the picture now.
Mm-hmm.
Davy and Imogen are talking at their dinner table, talking about like, oh my god, is she coming over? And Imogen's like, yep, she's coming to grab some of her clothes. And you're like, well, who the fuck are they talking about? We finally figure out it's Karen. Karen walks in.
Is a Karen.
She's a hardcore Karen. Karen walks in and says, hey, this was taped to your door, and hands it to Davy. And the A, which I fucking hate, the A is in red. Because we don't know as the audience that A is the killer. Like every fucking A in everything that they post, Saturday, Sunday, A is red. I'm like, we get it. We've been here. We've fucking been here.
What I liked the beginning of the show. The beginning of the show was like ookie pookie skooky.
Yeah, lots of questions. You were like, ooh.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
And they, like you said, she opens up the envelope and it has the flyer for the party in it. And she's like, ugh. And then Karen and Imogen are upstairs. They're talking, bitching each other out. I don't care. I'm going to say it however the fuck I want. And they're bitching each other out. And then Karen goes to leave and notices there's water pouring in the hallway. So they go down this long hallway and Archer, they show a shot of the outside of the house. And he goes, oh yeah, the hallway is that long and that size of a house. I was like, what are you, an architect? Shut the fuck up.
Also, can I say that there's also a cryptic message on the back of the rave flyer. Yes. That's pretty much like people are going to find out.
And we're not done. Like it starts now. Done.
People are going to find out about Angela Waters and what you did type of thing. And it's like, oh, so you're like, okay, what does this mean?
And then they go down the hallway to see what mom's doing. And then they open the door and mom is straight up
dead in the bathtub.
13 Reasons Why, dead in the bathtub. And a bloody A on the wall. And she's like, eh.
And I was like, very fucking close up shot of Imogen's face. So it's just like, and Karen's in the back, like,
like literally stupid. Like dumb bitch horror movie screamer girl in the back.
Fucking dumb.
When they showed her in a later scene, a flashback of her
when running, she's screaming out in the red. Yeah.
Like,
but after that,
funny.
After that, another time jump, and I'm like, wait, where are we? Who are you? So now Imogen is living with Tabby and her mother. I don't know. Does Tabby even have a father that we know of yet?
I know she obviously
has a dad, but
literally, I don't think any of them have dads.
Mouse has two moms, and I stand.
I was like, oh, okay, so we are gonna get like. That's one thing I was like, so we're not gonna get a gay person on this show. Like that was a very
moms right now. I'm hoping one of the characters will come out as gay, or trans, or non-binary. Just something.
I feel like somebody already is. But I'm not going to say anything because I ain't trying to call things out. But I think
you don't want to assume anything. Oh my god! Sorry, there's a spider.
Oh, okay. I love this stuff. I love when you do this. I love when you freak out and we have recordings of it.
Oh, I don't know where it went.
You guys, she's not gonna be able to finish the podcast.
Oh.
Put that microphone up to your voice so we can hear you freaking out.
Yeah, but I don't want it to crawl up my leg because it fell on the floor. Anyway, we'll find that later tonight when I'm laying in bed and it crawls on my face. It's fine.
A planted the spider.
Probably. Anyway, what were we saying? I mean, I guess we could talk about Sheriff. Oh
God, that bastard. Okay. I was like, is this the actor who played Wilden's like brother? They literally look exactly the same. Oh God.
Where'd it go? Okay. Hold on. Oh! Die, motherfucker!
This is entertaining.
That's fucking right.
If anybody was wondering, Megan's killing a spider.
Anyway, so let me put my headphones back on. First of all, I don't know if you noticed this, but he's the guy who played the bad guy in 50 Shades of Grey.
No, I didn't
fucking
notice
groped
that.
Anastasia.
No, I didn't know that, but he
that's him.
Scary vibes.
But yeah, he definitely looks like Detective Wilden's like brother, cousin. But he's Karen and Kelly's dad, which I'm like fucking annoyed with. Why did he have to be involved in any? Like Wilden was just a cop. I don't want a cop that's related to anybody.
And the stuff that he was saying when he thought that basically the girls were the reason why Karen killed herself was dark as fuck. I was like, I know we're on HBO and I get it. Like, trust me, I get it.
But they're fucking teenage girls.
But he's like an adult man, like literally getting beat red and being like, I'm gonna fucking ruin their fucking lives. And I was like, whoa, calm down.
Yeah, he's like, they will go to jail. I'm like, you need to calm down, sir.
I was like,
I understand your daughter died and was killed by not the girls, and you don't know that she was killed. You just know that she fell. But like,
he is the devil incarnate. He is a whole he's doing a good job when I fucking hate him.
Yeah.
And he's not a real person. Like, he's not a real thing. And every time his face shows up on screen, I instantly am like shivering. I'm like, I hate this person.
He's like an evil man.
Like, and then the best scene though was so he's in charge of Noah and they're like community service, other shit that felons basically doing community service. And Noah turns and sees A in a window and is like, creeper, I'm telling on you. And like,
I'm reporting you
to go find Sheriff Beasley, and then shows up. And I thought he was just jerking it. I thought he was just in the car being like, Oh, no.
I thought he was either watching something inappropriate, jerking off, or just something, not what actually happened.
Then all of a sudden you see the guy for Officer Beasley, and you see a kid come up and go, and you're like, are you? I literally was like, what?
Yeah, I just went, oh.
I was like, not a blowjob on the job.
Like, where did this guy come from?
Was he a teen? Not right.
Like, he looked like a teenager,
right? I was like, are these teenagers? I was impressed that the show didn't have like 30 inappropriate sex scenes. They had like one, and it wasn't even that inappropriate, and it was between two of the same aged people. I was
also,
like, okay.
Can I say, Pretty Little Liars never had a sex scene in the school.
Not in the school, no, not in school. It was in like their own homes. And I was like, you're a child.
Respect right there. I respect them for it.
I don't. It makes no sense.
Except for Hannah. Hannah was the one who like one of my favorite episodes of Pretty Little Liars.
Oh yeah, she had sex in a tent.
When Hannah and Caleb have sex at Spencer's cabin. And Emily kind of tells Spencer, like, yeah, maybe you should give them their cabin. They had a really good time last time. And Spencer's like, what? And she's like, you didn't know? And Spencer's like, no. And then Emily's like, okay. And she walks away. And then Spencer's like, that's my Nana's couch. The way she says it kills me every time. I love it. Yeah, but Hannah was the one who was like more adventurous. Hannah fucking had sex in the woods. She had sex at her friends' houses. Like, she was
little. That's gonna be like, Noah and Sean. They're just, see, to me, it was more realistic for them to do it at the school, because that's what teenagers do. Teenagers never have sex in beds ever. So that's more realistic to me. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. And it wasn't even that, it wasn't gross or inappropriate. And it was between kids that are the same age with each other.
Yeah.
Should we be watching that? No. But is it happening? Yes. I was like, okay, cool. But the blowjob, I was like, not on the job.
Not on
the job in your 1975 Chevrolet. No.
So we should also tell you, let's try and get it to where let's try, keyword try.
To do something with A?
To get it to where we have the end of episode 2. Okay, so Imogen comes back to school. She's pregnant. Karen's being a twat to her, like, nobody wants you here. Nobody wants your pregnant slut ass here. And Imogen's like, funny, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to run for, what is it called? Spirit Queen?
Spirit Queen, which made no sense to
I'm going to be Spirit Queen. And this is, like Farron and Tabby and Noah are like, oh, Imogen's got my vote. Anybody but Karen. So Karen's pissed about that. like we told you earlier, we think that they think that Karen did all the things to get them detention. They play the movie at the movie theater to get back at Karen. Karen, or so we think is Karen, comes into school a little later, probably a couple days later, and says that she no longer wants to be Spirit Queen. And we're like, this is kind of odd. Again,
and she did all the bad things.
Kind of gave me another Regina George moment. I was like, this is like very Regina George.
Yeah.
What is she plotting?
Right.
And then it cuts to.
Well, she says that she did all the bad things.
Yeah, she admits to all the bad stuff.
She gets suspended for, or like something for like a week, and that was it.
Yeah. So she admits to all the bad stuff. So the girls don't get charged with anything, but they're still like up to possibly getting like some form of detention or something just because of what they did with the video.
Right.
So who we think is Karen goes home and walks into her bedroom, and who we think is Kelly is on the bed crying. And I'm like, why the fuck is Kelly crying? And who we think is Karen goes, oh my God, you're reading the comments again? Like, fucking turn the phone off, Karen. And you realize that they played a switcheroo. And
which if you're Kelly, a twin, why wouldn't you do that?
Kelly goes in, which this is when you start to notice that Kelly is a lot darker than she seems.
Well, she's also smarter.
Facts. So she's like, everything's up into play. We're going to go full Carrie on her ass, meaning that when Imogen gets crowned, they're going to pour like red paint on her and pull a Carrie on her.
That looks like blood.
Yes.
Blood.
So, the girls all get ready for the dance because Imogen kind of has a moment like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that to Karen. That was so mean of me. Like, my mother would never done that. And the girls are like, stop. Like, we're going to go to this dance and we're going to fucking just show up and you're going to be crown queen and it's going to be amazing.
And they do their little compilation in front of the mirror.
They do a little compilation where they all get ready together. And I thought it was cute. So
I was like, this is Pretty Little Liars. This right here, this is Pretty Little Liars. I was like, okay, so we're back on track. We're back on track.
They all get ready. They all look very beautiful.
Yeah.
Can I just say, I know that Tabby, I don't know how old the character is that plays her. But I know Tabby
2, I think. Was
looking fucking hot.
They're beautiful. They're all beautiful. Woo! The oldest one,
that suit she was wearing. What was it? Would you call it a pantsuit or a short suit type thing?
A short suit.
Oh my God, Tabby was rocking it. I was like, I would have died to wear that to dances when I was younger.
Yeah, I think the girl who plays Farron is the oldest in real life, and she's 26.
Dear God, why do they do this? Anyway, so they go to the dance. They all show up. They're all dancing, having a good time, and it's finally time. Imogen goes to who we think is Kelly in this moment, because I will explain my theory later of what I think is going down and who I think A might possibly be, or who I think might be on the A team, because I definitely think they're probably maybe going to stick with an A team theme. Who knows? Anyway, who we think is Kelly at the moment. Imogen is like, hey, have you seen Karen? I really want to apologize for everything that I did. And like, I want to let her know that I'm going to give her like the crown and all that kind of stuff. And Kelly's like, no, I haven't seen her, but you know, I'm really sorry. And like, Kelly's kind of being like really nice to her and shit. And it's kind of weird. And you're like, okay. So then they're all looking out for Karen. Little things happen here and there with each of the characters that at the moment in time, aren't important to me because they mean have nothing. No play in the.
It's mostly boyfriend stuff.
Exactly. So she gets called up, and it's going slow-mo. So it's as if you're Imogen. So I'm paying attention because I'm like, something is either in the background. So when she's getting crowned, my first thing is, first of all, in all the shots, we never get a shot of Kelly. There's no shots of Kelly as Imogen is walking up to the stage as she's getting crowned. Where the fuck is Kelly?
Okay? Interesting. Okay.
Then as she gets the crown on her, we look up, we start to see that Karen is starting to slowly push the thing of paint to dump onto Imogen.
Right.
And all the girls like Tabby, Noah, and all them start to notice, and they're telling Imogen like, turn the fuck around.
Which was so funny and slow
Karen
motion.
is gonna fucking get you with paint. As Imogen looks up, she sees that who is believed to be A. They have a mask and they wear like a fucking like one piece.
We'll talk about that.
They're behind Karen,
Yep.
Karen notices that people are pointing behind her, and the look on Imogen's face, she looks around, and this person and Karen start fighting each other. He or she, they push Karen out of the rafters.
Right.
And she falls to her death. So of course chaos ensues. The girls are like telling Imogen, we gotta go. It is until like, I don't know how long after, Kelly finally shows up over Karen's body and is crying, which I was like, sus. And that's pretty much, even before that though, I will say this is when I got goosebumps. All of a sudden you hear all the phones go off at the same time, which I was like, Pretty Little Liars.
Yes,
all the
I
phones
was like,
go off
yes.
at the same time. And
I
then they had a cut of each girl's face in the frame, and they're all reading the text.
I wish they would have done that at the funeral. That's where I thought they missed a very Pretty Little Liar thing, which was all 5 of them at the funeral.
Yeah, but listen, that the whole Karen and Kelly's mom bitching out Imogen is very Pretty Little Liars-esque, back to when Mona was presumed to be killed by Allison, and Mona's mom bitched out Allison and fucking slapped her in the face. Yeah. Now, will I say, this was a lot darker based on what Kelly and Karen's mom said, saying like, I hope what happened to my child happens to your child, is fuck the fuck up.
I was like, okay, HBO, relax, calm down.
So anyway, all the girls get the A message and realize that they are all getting hunted down by this A person. And now they're starting to finally realize that maybe it wasn't Karen. We were just pawns in this A's game to get Karen killed.
And it's basically the same exact thing, a mirror image of what happened to their mothers. With Angela. It's like the exact same thing. Only we assume Angela was trying to kill herself, whereas Karen was not trying to kill herself. But the same thing. Girl in the rafters falls down, da-da-da-da-da.
Death.
Death.
So the third episode is mostly the girls trying to figure out who they think A might be, why A is doing this to them, how they are a part of this. The girls trying to decide who do they turn on each other, do they stay as a group and as one, what's better, is that what A wants? They are also investigating who Angela Waters is and trying to get more information from their parents about it, and talking to each other about it. That's pretty much the premise of the third one, is trying to they're dipping their toes into connecting the two stories together.
Their moms are kind of
oh my god, my throat is dying.
Their moms are kind of blowing it off and making it sound like it wasn't a big deal and it wasn't a big thing, when clearly,
and they didn't really know Angela. And
right, like we as the audience clearly know that that's bullshit, and that they're clearly involved in it in some way. I found it really interesting too that they pointed out that nobody called
for 2 days.
For 2 days. No one called Angela's death in for 2 fucking days. This girl just
insane.
Sat there. I was like, what? And they're like, oh, well, it was a rave and we didn't want people to know. I'm like,
and we thought somebody, they were like, we thought somebody else would have called.
You're the only rave in Pennsylvania. Yeah. I think somebody would have figured it out. You would have been
like,
fine.
How did not one person at that rave call 911? Not
right.
one
it was
person.
So fucking weird. I was like,
that is very odd. And that will probably come into play later as well.
There's so many things that are just gonna like add up together eventually. I don't want them to get to a point where they have too many puzzle pieces they have to add up together that they can't do it. You physically can't connect all the pieces. Sense. It's impossible. I don't want them to get so drudged down by so many fun little secrets and lies. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, relax. Yeah. Like, have a couple here and there, fill in the gaps later. Like, calm down.
But so here's my theory. This is probably the most obvious theory. And if they do this, I will be kind of disappointed because it's so obvious, and I don't want it to be obvious. I want you to play with me. I want you to throw me in circles so I don't know who the fuck A is.
Right.
So,
but I want it to be a good one. I don't want it to be a dumb one.
If we go back to the books, in the books, there was the twin storyline where Allison had a twin and the twin killed Allison, I'm pretty sure, or it was either the other way around. They kind of did that with Cece, and supposedly Cece was Jason's twin, even though that wasn't. Pretty Little Liars went a little crazy,
but they weren't, which
is why I loved it. Huh?
They weren't twins.
Yeah, Cece and Jason weren't twins in the end, but at first they played that storyline.
Right, but then they tried to do it with
if they try to do the original type of vibe of the book storyline when it comes to the twin plot, I'll be kind of annoyed because I'll be like, that's so obvious to do. So what I think, though, just based off of this is just based off of the first 3 episodes and based off of me trying to pay attention to certain things and who wasn't there and who was there. I think that Kelly killed Karen. Do I know if Kelly's A? No. But do I think Kelly killed Karen? Yes. Or somehow had a play in it, which of course she did. She thought of the plan to pull the Carrie to get Karen up in the rafters. Whether or not and mom thinks that Sheriff Beasley is also part of it. Mom's like, I think her father fucking plotted this out and killed her too, because I think her father is fucking sick of her and just killed her. So mom and I's kind of thing ties to Kelly isn't in the know and it's kind of working, and then Sheriff Beasley is the person in the mask, in the suit. How does that attach to Angela Waters? No fucking idea. Maybe he was madly in love with her and the girls got her killed. And so that's why he's so aggressive on the girls this time.
That's what I'm waiting for, is for Sheriff Beasley to be like, went to high school with the girls.
Exactly. So that's like my little thing, just based off of the 3 episodes and which characters we have been introduced to. Those are my 2 suspects of who might be either working with A or is part of the A team or is physically A.
Wes, this is out of left field. It probably won't be a thing.
Yeah.
But I'd be interested to see if Angela had a kid at a very young age and Wes is her kid. Because Wes, his character gives me the fucking creepiest fucking vibes. The creepiest vibes. I don't know if it's because of the actor or if it's because the way they've created the character, but he gives me like serial killer stalker vibes.
He does.
Especially in the way that he interacts with Tabby is really, it's not just like I never felt like, I knew Ezra and Arya's relationship was inappropriate, but I never felt that Ezra was gross and creepy.
No, I was never creeped out by Ezra in that aspect.
Right. But I know now as an adult, that was a creepy thing.
It was inappropriate.
That. Yeah.
Yes.
But Wes literally makes me feel uncomfortable.
He makes my skin crawl.
Good for
the actor.
Yeah. Yeah. He's doing a great job. Like taking her home and stopping on the side of the road
to like make out with her.
So gross to me. And the fact that he smokes cigarettes, I was like, it is 2022. Why are we smoking cigarettes? Like,
why are we not smoking pot?
Literally. Why aren't we vaping?
Yeah.
Which I thought was just like, I don't know, really, really weird. So I could see a world where he's connected somehow. I think that would be kind of out of left field for most people.
I mean, he was shown more than a lot of the other side boy characters, I would say. So he obviously is going to play a big part in something, whether or not it has anything to do with A.
One of the boys is going to be something, like something negative, and involving them. Which one it will be, who the fuck knows? But if we're just going to like go off of the main idea here of every year, there's always one of the boys always is a part of the A team somehow.
Are we going to have a Radley moment? Do you think they're going to have a place like Radley in the show?
Probably. It might not be an insane asylum, but it'll be something.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Because I'm like, are we going to have like a Spencer like spiraling moment when she thinks Toby's dead and like betrayed her?
Yeah, they'll do. I think they're going to have some like themed similarities. Like, again, like, maybe it's not Radley, maybe it's like a hotel or it's something, you know what I'm saying? They'll have like a big centerpiece space, place, location that is very core to that television show. Mm-hmm. So that was one thing that I was thinking was about Wes. I feel like there's just no way Sheriff Beasley isn't connected in some way either, because he's such a fucking horrible person.
And he's very like, I understand your daughter died, but he's like, he's going hard, man. I
feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, if we're going off of the three like main A's from the first one, spoiler alert, Mona, and then Cece, and then Spencer's sister. Yeah. I feel like the first A overall was the most obvious A out of the three of them. That, you could have connect the pieces together pretty well to eventually be like, oh yeah, Mona, duh.
Yeah, facts.
So I feel like if maybe they're trying to do a similar idea, they're going to go for an obvious one first, which I think would be Karen, Kelly, and Sheriff Beasley, somewhere in that realm. I feel like it's a very obvious, like vendetta, vengeance, whatever. Yeah. And then are they going to have multiple A's? Like you said, are they going to have an A team? It's weird because you can tell on one hand they're trying to do an A. They're trying to do an OG Pretty Little Liars. But then on the side here with the character A, they're going more towards the MTV Scream show where
/ like Halloween vibes and like Scream and
very much like old school 70s 80s horror movies where
because we never saw A that much.
No, we never did. We never saw a mask
except at the end of the episodes. We saw like maybe a little thing that A was doing to like show you, oh, this is how this happened in this episode.
Right.
Like, but we never saw pretty much every fucking frame of this episode. Of the 3 episodes, A was probably hiding in some frame somehow in every frame.
A was never in a public setting. A was never in the same room as the girls.
Not that much.
That we could see as a character. Like
that excessively.
So that part, I was like, okay, so that was a little weird. That part, they really don't want to be like Pretty Little Liars. They're like, nope, no. This specific A, we are going to make it more of, like you said, because there's a lot of horror movie references in this television show too. And
a lot.
And that felt like one of them where it's like, okay, we're going to do it like all the old school horror movies that Dad grew up with. You always saw the horror guy. You always saw him everywhere.
Just somewhere. Yeah.
Somewhere, always doing something. He was always up in their face. And the characters always saw him too. The main characters always saw them. And the same thing happened here where the first episode, it's just standing outside the window at school.
Yeah.
Like, hey,
on Imogen's phone, look outside. And she's
I was like,
hello?
I was like, what are you doing? Run.
Yeah. Like, what?
There's a lot of references to The Shining. Like almost all of Imogen's outfits look just like the twin girls from The Shining. There are a lot of stockings and like blue dresses. And I was like, she looks just like the twin girls from The Shining.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's very interesting. I don't know. I wish they would bring back the thing at the end of every episode like they did with the original where like you said they would show A being like, this is how I did it, or this is what I'm like,
here's what I'm going to be doing.
And they kind of sort of tiny little bit did that when they show them the custodian went into the back room there. And you could see all the things that A had done to the girls. And I was like, oh, that's very A. But I was also like, bitch, why is your lair in the school? Like,
because then no one would think it'd be
I'm
there.
Like, this A sucks. This A is stupid. This A is definitely a dude.
That's not a good A layer. Come on. Don't you know? Learn from Mona Vanderwaal.
Right. And the text messages, I'm like, weak. These are not funny. They're not sarcastic. They're just
he was like
dumb.
was it Farron where he was like, you're going to slay? I was like, shut the fuck up.
I was like, these text messages suck. And I don't like that it's like, you almost can't see them very well. The way that their camera angles are, you can't see them very well. Like in the original Pretty Little Liars, it was like the screen was up against the camera.
Or near the last season, they would have the text on the screen.
Yes.
Which I love.
I would have to pause to read it because I'm like, am I old? But it's like they have it at this like weird angle. The phone's at a weird angle.
Where they think that we can read it and we can't.
Right. And it's backed up a little bit, or like you're over the girl's shoulder, but it's still down. It's still like way down here at their chest. I'm like, I can't fucking see this. I'm old. What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm blind.
I'm 32. I'm basically crippled.
But yeah.
What would you give 0 out of 10? This 3 episodes.
If I'm not comparing them to Pretty Little Liars, probably.
Well, if you are, obviously you like the original better.
Oh, 100% so far. Probably just a hardcore 6. because there were some really good things. And I don't get me wrong, as you see, I love creepy shit. I love horror movies. But I really was hoping to have nostalgia in a way watching this, feeling like knowing that it's a different story, but still feeling like Pretty Little Liars. And I didn't get that as much.
No,
and I feels like it's its own show. I understand that it's its own entity, but I still want to have Pretty Little Liars vibes, because it's called Pretty Little Liars Original Sin.
Exactly. Why name it that if you're not going to give the original fans some sense of nostalgia while they watch it? Like, what the fuck is the point?
If A is the only thing that's keeping, like, that's the connection, that's fucking stupid.
Yeah,
and you're just making money off of that franchise by using that in your title
and trying to get an instant fan base, like literally like an instant fan base.
It's stupid. But we're gonna keep watching from here and see how the next episodes go. It looks like it's just gonna get darker and crazier and more murder, and again more horror movie vibes. So
which I'm okay with, but I'm gonna have to put myself in a state of mind of, okay, clearly this is its own entity.
Yeah,
it's not Pretty Little Liars. It's literally, like you said, the only thing that's connecting it is literally the letter A.
It is just called Original Sin. We are not going to call it Pretty Little Liars anymore. It's just called Pretty Little Liars. No longer. It's just going to be called Original Sin.
That's it.
Okay.
And I think it's going to have to be that way, because there's no other way to describe it. Like, it's not Pretty Little Liars. It's just not.
The only thing that's, like we said, the only thing that's connected is A, and that's it. So, but again, we'll see what happens. If you're weary, like we kind of were, which I knew I was going to watch it no matter what. But if you're somebody that's like, I don't know if I should watch it, come hang out with us, listen to the podcast, see if you think you'd want to watch it, like what plots and stuff we're talking about in the flesh, and then you can give it a go yourself. So
do what I do. Don't even watch the fucking show and just listen to every podcast about the damn show. I don't watch Beverly Hills Housewives, but I know everything that's going on because I listen to every podcast about Beverly Hills Housewives. So doesn't make a difference to me.
Next week we will be talking about, I'm pretty sure now they're just going to do one episode a week. Because I think that was just for the premiere.
I don't know.
I think that was just for the premiere. So maybe one episode a week, which will kind of make this shorter. So we'll have more times to talk about other things like pop culture and stuff, to give everybody kind of a good array of topics that they can kind of go through if they want to skip the PLL storyline stuff that we talk about.
And luckily this week wasn't too crazy in pop culture. It was a pretty, overall, I was kind of shocked. It was kind of a chill week. I was like, okay, no one wants to cause a scandal. Okay.
Follow us on Instagram at, is it I Hate the Internet Podcast?
I Hate the Internet Podcast on Instagram, with dots in between each one. And then TikTok
follow
is
us
I Hate the
on
Internet
TikTok.
Pod. I'll link everything below. Link everything below. And we have a YouTube channel now.
Yeah.
Where you can see us for free, because
we
just need to create a following at this point. Money is not an object in this little game we're playing right now. So we're just making everything fun. We're making everything free. We have the Patreon if you want to see the video and you want the audio. That'll be put there all in one place. But we're going to change some things up to basically be free for a while, because we just want you guys to listen and follow and like and share and have a good time with us. So I will link everything down below like I always do, so you don't have to do the hard work and I don't have to think about what the name of all our fucking things are.
There you go.
And that's all she motherfucking wrote. So I hope you enjoyed it.
Thanks for listening.
We love Pretty Little Liars. Pretty Little Liars will always be a part of this podcast.
100%.
Whether we're talking about the actual episode or not, it's somehow always embedded in a conversation between the two of us. And that's okay.
Yes, I'm okay with that.
Goodbye.
We love you guys. Bye.
Bye.